So we are starting chapter 10. It's the last chapter of our book. It's kind of exciting. The first lesson is talking about making predictions, and it has to do with math predictions and some things called statistics. Let's see if I can change this a little bit. So it just says statistics deal with collecting, organizing, and interpreting data. One of the things that we're going to get into more probably the next lesson is talking about surveys, but it says a survey is a method of collecting information. So you would know what a survey is. I took one actually last week to find out some of your interest. The group being studied is the population. So for last week when I gave you guys the survey, the population was the entire 7th grade math class. But sometimes the population is so big, and so to save time or money or any of those types of things, they'll do a sample. And so they just get a smaller group of the population. For my survey, I wanted the entire population, so I surveyed all of you. But another way would have been just to survey some of you to get some ideas. All right, looking at today's lesson, it'll almost feel a little bit like we did last week. So it says, the table shows the results of a survey at Hamilton Middle School 7th graders. Use the table to find the following probabilities. One of the things that you guys are going to often have to do is take and find out how many total students were surveyed. So they kind of give us information about the entertainment, how many students chose entertainment field, career field, 14 students chose education, 11 chose medicine, 6 chose public service, and 2 chose sports. What you're going to want to do is go ahead, add those up, and I already know this adds up to be 50. So it says, what is the probability of choosing a career in public service? So what you would do is, just like we did in last chapter, the probability equals, and public service is 6, students chose that, over the 50 total. And then we would go ahead and reduce, so divide by 2, or your calculator might do it for you, and you would get 3/25. Reminder, when you plug this in on the Google form, you're only going to type in the 3/25. You're not going to write all this. I would make you do that if we were in class, but being that we're not, that's all you would have to do. All right, the next couple look like this. So again, probability. Again, there are 50 total kids surveyed. And of those 50, we have 14 that chose education. So now we're going to put the 14 there. And again, always reduce. And I end up with 7/25. And again, that's the only answer I would type in for a problem like that. One more like this. The probability of choosing a career in sports. So 2. I got that from right here because that's what sports say. And then out of the 50 students. And again, I can reduce by 2 and I get 1/25. Now, the next couple questions on your assignment today are going to look similar to this. And so I wanted to write out a couple problems like that. It says, what % of the students chose medicine? So if you guys remember all the way back, I think it's like chapter 2, how to find a % of a number. So I'm going to go ahead and look at medicine. Medicine has 11 students out of 50. So when you guys set this up, you're going to do the number of students, which is 11, out of the 50 total equals, remember, % over 100. If you have forgotten how to do the butterfly or solving a proportion, you're multiplying diagonally. So 50x equals, then I'm multiplying these two, 1100 divide by 50, divide by 50, and I end up canceling, getting x equals 22% of the students chose medicine. Let's do one more like this. So it says, what % of the students chose entertainment? So again, I'm going to kind of work over here on this side. Entertainment was 17 students out of the 50 equals, remember, % over 100. And again, we'll solve the proportion using the butterfly. 50x equals 1700 divide by 50, divide by 50, cancel, and x equals 34, and these are percents. So again, what percent? And I found the percent. The next two problems will look somewhat similar to the last two, but you have to remember, percents are always out of 100. These are going to look a little different. It says predict how many students out of 400 will enter the education field. So right now, education, we know 14 out of the 50, so I'm going to write that 14 out of the 50 plan to go into education. So this is the education out of the total students. So over here, I want to do education over the students. So I'm going to set this up. So we have 14 out of the 50 equals how many education students out of if we were to have 400? All right, so percents, I was putting it over 100. Now I'm putting it out of the new total number of students to help us make a prediction. So again, solving this, I'd get 50x equals 5,600, divide by 50, divide by 50, cancel, and I'd end up with the answer of 112 students in education or planning to go into education. We'll do one more like this. Again, we're making a prediction. If this holds true, right now they're saying in the medicine field or medical field, we have 11 students out of the 50. So this is the medicine out of the students. So now we want to know how many people would choose medicine out of 500. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Out of the students, and now our new total of students is 500. So originally we had 11 medical students out of 50 students surveyed. So how many medical students out of 500? So notice medical to students, medical to students. Go ahead, do the butterfly. I think I'm going to end up running out of room, but I would end up with a 50x equals 5,500 divide by my 50. If I can push this up a little bit. Divide by 50, cancel, and then my final answer would be 110 students in the medical field or in medicine.